Now, President Biden announced that he is taking executive action to crack down on gun violence. The president called it a public health epidemic, and he called on Congress to pass mandatory background checks for gun buyers and a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines.
The idea that we have so many people dying every single day from gun violence in America is a blemish on our character as a nation.
The Biden administration also wants to make it harder to buy guns that can be built at home and do not require a background check. They also want to tighten regulations on pistol stabilizing braces. That's something that they say the shooter used recently in Colorado. A Pulse survivor was in Washington for President Biden's announcement, and he is joining us live. He is a longtime friend of Good Day Orlando. He's also a gun control activist. Brandon Wolf, always a pleasure to see you, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's great to see you, too.
So, Brandon, at first, I want to remind our viewers, and if you don't mind, and I know it's not an easy story to tell, but take us back to what happened at Pulse so people can understand why you're so passionate about this.
Well, on June 12, 2016, I did the thing that I had done hundreds of times before, and that is I went for a drink with my best friends, Drew and Juan. The ordinary turned extraordinary when just after 2 o'clock in the morning, I stepped into the bathroom to wash my hands, and a man with an assault weapon opened fire. He killed 49 mostly LGBTQ people of color that night. And honestly, washing my hands saved my life because my best friends were on the dance floor when they took 19 rounds from his assault rifle and never got to come home to say goodbye to their parents. So I've spent the last 5 years very passionate about ensuring that people don't ever forget them and that their lives and legacies mean something.
And you really, this changed your life in so many ways. At the times you were working for Starbucks Corporation and you were managing stores. And then you said, you know what, I need to change my whole life because of that moment in time. Do you feel like over the last 5 years that you have been able to make an impact?
I do. You know, it's hard to see progress when you're sort of in the trenches of the fight, right? And the last 5 years have been very difficult. There have been really hard moments and a lot of me laying my trauma bare for people in the hopes that I will change some hearts and minds. But yesterday in the Rose Garden and in the Oval Office afterward, it felt like vindication. It felt like hope and optimism, and it felt like a lot of the hard work that we've done paying off right before our eyes.
So we know that the president took some executive action, but of course the real battle, as you know, is in the halls of Congress, right? So he is able to do these sort of what they would call maybe smaller steps. How are your conversations with lawmakers, and do you feel like they're receptive to what you say to them?
Well, it really matters who's sitting in the Oval Office, who's at the highest levels of government in this country. And I took note that when we were in the Oval Office, there were members of Congress there with us. And the president was very frank with them. You know, he looked them in the eyes and he said, the country is just wondering, what are you waiting for? Right. And that tone and tenor really matters. So, you know, I live on optimism. If America runs on Duncan, I run on optimism because I think it's all I've got left. And so I'm hopeful that we can get some change. And I think it really matters to have President Biden in the Oval Office, signing executive orders and inviting Congress to find the political courage and will to get something done.
Well, we know that you will continue working on this, and we always appreciate you sharing your story with us and our viewers. Brandon Wolf, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.